Evening, everybody, and welcome to week 2 of the Home Team Friday Countdown. Bailey and Zane are standing by, ready to break down 3 of the biggest games on tomorrow night's high school football schedule. Let's take a look at tonight's games. 3 great ones as always. Big showdown in the SIAC at the Bowl. 2 of the powerhouses, Castle and Mater Dei, will be going at it. Staying in the SIAC, 2 teams that need a win. Memorial and North both lost their season openers last week, so neither one of those teams are going to want to start 0-2. And in Kentucky, it's a big city-county rivalry game. Davis County and Owensboro Catholic both coming off of impressive wins in week number 1. All right, let's bring in the crew. Bailey Smith, and as always, the voice of Bossy Field from the Journal-Democrat, Zane Clodfelter. Guys, a huge one in the SIAC. Let's jump right into it. 2 of the best in the conference every year. Castle at the Bowl to take on the top-ranked team in 2A, Mater Dei. Bailey, get us started with the Knights. What are they going to have to do to knock off Mater Dei on their home field?
Well, ironically, this all-time series is tied up at 24, and they're looking for that tiebreaker. And I'll be at this game on Friday, and I know I'm not the only one who's going to be watching out for Caden Gordon. Now, last week's game against North was his first varsity start as a quarterback, and man, did this junior make a statement with 266 passing yards and 3 touchdown passes. Not a bad way to start out the year. Last year, Mater Dei edged past Castle in OT, but then quarterback Cameron Tilley only had a combined total of 79 yards. So with a new man under center tomorrow, I think it could be a different story.
Mason Wonderlick Bailey was impressive last week in the season opener for Mater Dei, completing 75% of his passes, averaging 11 yards per completion. The Wildcats had a balanced offensive attack, and everyone played a part in the victory, with Wonderlick passing for 3 different scores to 3 different receivers, and Joey Pierre scoring twice on rushing attempts. The unsung hero of the game, Mater Dei's defense, with that first shutout, Randall, since 2020.
Yeah, guys, we heard from Doug Hurt today, Castle's head coach, and he said one of the big things you have to worry about when you play Mater Dei, you can't shoot yourself in the foot. You have to play pretty perfect football to have a chance to beating the Cats. All right, let's stay in the SIAC now. In this conference, let's be honest, an 0-2 start may end any chances of a championship. That's what Memorial and North will try to avoid this week. Both lost their openers last week. Zane, who bounces back this week?
Well, Randall, I think Memorial picks up their first win of the season. They're trying to bounce back and get on track after a 24-point loss to Jasper a week ago. And hey, the Tigers offense showed signs of some promise, but inconsistencies in the rushing and passing game were too much to overcome. Caleb Elsperman had a rare off night, completing just 40% of those passes, but that's an outlier when you think back to his junior campaign. He isn't the only one with some added motivation this week, as the Tigers are seeking to beat North for the 9th time in 10 games, Bailey.
All right, well, let's not sleep on the Huskies, though. They may have lost their season opener, but they made it interesting, coming back from a 21-point deficit and only falling to Castle by 1 touchdown. Angelo St. Louis was on fire with over 200 yards rushing and 2 of those touchdowns. Now, last year, Memorial shut down their run game, so if those Husky legs can work like they did last Friday, it could be interesting.
Yeah, you really hate to say in week number 2 that it's a must-win game, but in all honesty, as tough as the SIAC is, this may be a must-win game for those 2 teams. All right, our final game of the night heads to the Bluegrass State. Davis County at Owensboro Catholic. Both teams look very good in week number 1's last week. Bailey, you have Davis County. That Panthers offense, fantastic last year. They picked up right where they left off on Friday night.
Davis County, a bunch of dogs, as they would say. Well, last season when the Panthers took on the Aces, Davis County blew them out of the water. But they are without quarterback Joe Humphreys this year. Now, last week, that didn't seem to be an issue, though. Jack Ball is under center, and his 235 passing yards and 4 touchdown passes helped the Panthers, or Dogs, steamroll Meade County 43-14, excuse me. So if they can keep up that energy, it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Bailey, what a performance for Owensboro Catholic last week, dominating Apollo and setting an early tone in the Commonwealth. Brady Atwell threw 3 first-half touchdowns, and the Aces defense allowed just 262 yards against a dynamic offense and forced 2 turnovers. Meanwhile, the Aces put up over 400 yards of total offense, and a replication of that performance tomorrow against Davis County. Randall, Owensboro Catholic could be 2-0.
And that should be a dandy. We're going to talk more about that game in just a second. Guys, week number 1 in the books. Who stood out most to you? Who had the best performance you feel as a team in week number 1? Zane, we'll start with you.
Vincennes Lincoln shutting out Bossy on the road in that SIAC opener. Very impressive.
I got to go Henderson County, though, with over 400 rushing yards. Just rushing yards, not total yards, rushing yards. I'm pretty sure that was pretty crazy performance. I got to go with them.
And I really like the way that Wright started the season last week. A little bit of a slow start, but they came on well, and they looked more like the Wrights that we were used to seeing playing in the SIAC 3, 4, 5 years ago. All right, our game of the week tomorrow night, we're heading to the Bluegrass State for that Owensboro Catholic Davis County game. You can see it live tomorrow night at 7 on TriStateHomepage.com. Again, this is a streaming game, and we got it for tomorrow night at 7 on TriStateHomepage.com. Don't forget Home Team Friday tomorrow night at 10:35 over on ABC 25. Guys, as always, thanks much. Great job, and we will see you on the sidelines tomorrow night.